Okay, Gemini, let's just start with the Emperor reverse because I think that's really what we all really want to know, right? Um, so yes, so we know what that is. So here we have, to clarify him, a Seven of Swords and the Eight of Swords. So this person, whoever it is so incredibly in their box, and they have absolutely no idea. And it's very possible that they are striving very hard. I'm sensing jealousy with this person, like a lot of jealousy being projected toward you. And that's obviously not your problem, right? There's either jealousy or a sense of inadequacy. They're feeling as though maybe they're seeing you live up to certain things, and they feel like that sense of envy, but yet not really realizing where that envy is really coming from, which is their own feeling of like, well, I wish that I was doing more with my own life. You know how that goes. And so they're trying to sabotage something. There is a level of deceit here. If you are dealing with someone, be really, really careful, because they can have a propensity to lie. And I would hate to see you getting caught up in someone else's BS, because you have such beautiful energy going on. You have so much progress, so much growth, so much stuff that is so much more worthy of your time, energy, and attention than this nonsense. And that's exactly what it is. It is just absolute, utter nonsense. This is the product of an unexamined soul. You know, this is someone who has a lot of pain, a lot of psychological hang-ups. They have a lot of boundaries, and they genuinely do not know that those things exist. So what they're doing is they are creating circumstances to keep themselves safe, right? This is someone who, for all intents and purposes, feels safe. Safe within their confines, safe within their barricades. But they have no idea that if they were to break free from those barricades, that they would have this unlimited source of light and abundance. But they want to stay comfortable. They want to stay in a place that they understand. And it's because since childhood, most likely, they have built this concrete fortress, wall after wall after wall after wall, and it is keeping them in the dark. And they prefer to stay in the dark. They don't even want to address the fact that they are in the dark. When you are dealing with a personality like that, it is so difficult to have any kind of real or logical conversation, because they can be very defensive, because they are going to defend their safety barricade, because they perceive that anything outside of that is so much worse. I mean, it's really an intricate and delicate situation, especially because it's an emperor. If it was like a Knight of Wands or something, like, okay, like there's some flexibility there. But this is an incredibly rigid, stubborn person, and someone who very much identifies like, this is who I am, without really analyzing why that is who they are. And really, we all know that what we are is just a soul, just an awareness. This person is like, nope, I have this job, I have this amount of money, I do this is my personality, this is my preference, I like this kind of food, I don't like that kind of food, you know, and they have this whole like construct going on, okay? There's not a lot you can do. This is an unbending energy. And it is burdensome. See, and it's interesting how, like, as we move into the Ten of Wands, there's work involved here. What did I say about the obligation? You know, it's, it is, you know, I don't know, are you moving away from it? This is the choice. This is kind of what you're trapped in. There's certainly a desire to move forward. There's a lot of motion going on. But yet there's resistance with breaking free from that. Like I said, maybe there's a financial obligation here. Maybe there's a familial tie. This is someone in your family. It's someone you're supposed to love. It's the father of your children, someone you're supposed to get along with, or whatever that circumstance is for you. And what you want more than anything, and I see that both reciprocated with the Cups and the Lovers, is communication. Like, especially if this is someone that you're dating, I know that what you want more than anything is for the two of you to really come together, to make amends, to communicate properly, and to find that common ground. But yet there's a lot of resistance on your part to either approach the subject, right? Because you're in defensive mode right now. So of course you're not like really super open. All these kind of closed off energies, even the card of Cancer, right? Being very protective. So you're kind of tapping into, even like here, we have this card of Scorpio. I don't know if this is you. I don't think it's this person. I actually would say that you're coming out as the King and Queen of Cups, okay? Because I can't get two Queen of Cups. So you're coming out as this Scorpionic Cancerian, both really protected because of the sensitivity there. And you know that you don't want to be affected negatively. You know what's going on energetically, and yet there's still some open dialogue. If you know going into those dialogues what you're dealing with, you might be able to be those to tap into that verbal wizardry that you guys are notorious for, and be able to talk your way around this person's ego to get them to admit something, or to get them to change in some small way, to get them to find that common ground. There is a sense of not giving up with you. I don't see that you're giving up on anybody, in spite of maybe really wanting to move away. For some reason, there is a sense of duty to this situation, a sense of obligation. And you're not ready to give up. You're not ready to just completely move on, but you are ready for things to change. And that's the beautiful thing about having Jupiter coming across your sun, your ascendant, your moon over the course of the next year, is I do think that opportunities are absolutely going to knock on your door, and you're going to be ready. And I think this is, in a way, clearing up whatever nonsense this is in preparation for what's to come. So finding common ground, finding that union again, because again, the Ten of Coins is it's a thing. And sometimes it is important in our life, especially if it is money, especially if it is our financial security and our well-being is dependent on this, then it means that the common ground with this person is even that much more important, in spite of the grief that they may be causing. Do you see what I'm saying? Hopefully that makes sense. You guys know I'm always like, I hope it makes sense. I hope it makes sense. Again, Chiron and Gemini. So the Eight of Coins is about the day-to-day. Two cards of Virgo coming out. It's about the day-to-day, the mundane, the boring stuff. It's about putting your head down and really doing the work. And I think that the change, as seen with the Eight of Wands, is going to happen. It is going to occur quite rapidly, meaning you will see the positive effects of this Eight of Coins quickly. It's not just about, a long haul. Eight of Coins doesn't always have to be long periods of time. Okay? It can be short. It can be effective right away. And I think that's kind of the energy that you're dealing with, hence the Eight of Wands. See, the Four of Swords, it's very complementary to the Hermit. Nine of Wands, clearly you are in protective mode. You have the Cancerian crabs, crab claws. You have the Scorpionic Scorpio stinger like prime. You have these sort of protective mechanisms going on. And I think, in a beautiful way with this Lovers, you are balancing your quote-unquote good and evil twin, right? Like you have your evil twin ready, but you're maintaining the balance of both, keeping both mindsets going, just because you don't really know what's going to really happen. Now, I don't see anything dramatic happening really. The only thing I really see is you tapping into the bottom layers of this person's motivations, right? You're tapping into this person's psychology. That's the essence here. You are digging deep. That's the opposite side of Mercury, right? You guys are all about information and connecting the dots and like big picture kind of stuff. Virgo is about the small picture kind of stuff. It digs and digs and digs and digs, and it gets to the root. It gets to the bottom of something. And you're getting to the bottom of what's going on here. And the more clearly you can see it, the easier it is going to be to resolve it, because your Gemini mind is going to quick fire and you're going to say, oh, click, there we go. That's how we really need to deal with this particular thing. Okay. And the rest period, the meditation periods that you participate in, so important for you to clear your mind, so important for you to really connect with that higher self, because this stuff is all like lower self kind of stuff. And when I say lower self, I mean the ego, not the super ego, right? The higher self is the super ego. You're dealing with the ego. Okay? And that can be tough. You know, that can be, especially when you're dealing with someone else. But at least you're aware. The consciousness of that is the critical part here. What did I say? Every tarot card indicates some form of choice. And here we have two cards of choice really coming out. First and foremost, what did I say about humility? That's being reinforced here. Because the more humble you can be, the more likely that this is going to pan out in a positive way. I think that the outcome of whatever this is in your life is 100% in your control. And it's 100% dependent on the consciousness that you approach this with. If you come at it with an ego, it's going to smack you in the face. If you come at it from a level of spirituality, it's going to flow and be fluid, and it's just going to dissolve. That's, again, the essence of the moon. It's going to just dissolve. And it's just going to take care of itself. Two of Coins, you know, you kind of balancing your twins, like I said before, goes well with the Lover's card. And the Two of Swords is a card of peace. Ow, just hit my elbow. It's a card of peace. It's a card of restoring peace. The blindfold is a powerful message here. And it reinforces what I said in the beginning. You don't have to see the outcome here. The outcome is an irrelevant fantasy. Okay? Approach it with goodness, and it will be good. The consequences will be good. Maybe not in the short term, but in the long term. All right? The Hermit is someone who knows themselves. But you're dealing with someone who doesn't know themselves, which puts you in the driver's seat here. Like, for reals, this is 100% in your control in terms of like your reactions, right? I think this person may lie to you. I think this person may try to deceive you. They may try to get something from you, try to manipulate you in some way. Even if it's some small way, it's very self-serving. But see, the thing I love about a Queen of Cups and also a King of Cups from down here is they don't buy into that because their instincts are so incredibly strong. They are so intuitive. And this person thinks that they're being all, you know, like they're so good at deceiving, but they are so incredibly transparent. Like, it's almost laughable at what they're doing because it's so obvious, their agenda. Ten of Swords. I'm seeing really beautiful connections with words here. We have your ruling planet, symbol of Mercury, coming out. We have this card, which I do see as a very collaborative, community-based, like really working together. There's creative solutions here. You know, I think that you're really going to approach this from a, like, you know, what's possible kind of mindset. And there's going to be some good communication. Sometimes this is mediation or counseling, or sometimes you get a neutral third party involved. Five of Swords tells me that you've been here before. You've been in this situation before. You're repeating some kind of a pattern before, from before. I don't want you caught in a cycle when the whole time you've always known. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've always known that this person was this way, was a Seven of Swords, Eight of Swords type of person. You've always known that. You've always known what they are capable of. And yet somehow in the past you've ignored it, or you've done something anyway. You've lived in denial, right? You've never given up. And now I think that you're kind of like, first of all, you're getting sick of it. Ten of Swords reverse, you're getting sick of it. You're trying to move away, but there's still that tendency there. This could very easily be someone that's caught in a cycle of forgiving and then getting hurt again, forgiving and then getting hurt again, and back and forth and back and forth. You need to recognize that pattern. You need to recognize how this is familiar, because again, Mars in Pisces can really dilute things. And there are no real winners here unless something changes. There are no real winners here unless something becomes something different. And I think you are becoming something different in a really big way. I do. I think you're becoming something different, and I think this person is starting to see that. And what's happening is that they're trying to grasp at the old you. They're trying to get the old you back. See, the Ace of Coins is so deserved. You have been strong, you have been self-reliant, you have been intelligent, and the Ace of Coins is the reward, and it is what is rightfully coming to you. You have tapped into what we call the abundance frequency, and that is through gratitude. The expression of gratitude is the abundance frequency. Do you understand? You've tapped into it. And there's a temptation, and there's someone that is trying to get you to not be abundant. They don't like to see you successful. They don't like to see you winning because they are so trapped. The problem is that I don't really see you moving away, or there's fear there still with moving away. And the resolve is easing things over, like I said before, like having that real heart-to-heart conversation, getting back on common ground, negotiating proper connections, you know, that kind of stuff. But see, the Fool does concern me. Look, you have every reason in the world to be super confident in your manifestation abilities, like to the nth degree. You have every single reason to believe of what you're capable of. And I know that you know that the universe hasn't shown you anything different. And I think what's happening here, again, an element of choice. What's happening here is you're like, do I maintain this reliance, or do I become independent? Are you going to, quote unquote, downgrade, so to speak? And it's not really a downgrade. I'm just like from a 10 to a 9. It's not, it's just from being the reliant on the other person versus being reliant upon yourself. And I think you're going to choose the reliance upon yourself. And in spite of the hesitancy and the resistance, you're going to come to the conclusion that, like, this isn't worth it. And you're going to start strategizing, again, logistics, You're going to start strategizing of how you can separate from this 10 of coins situation and get to this 9 of coins situation. You may need to make certain revisions in your life, but as a mutable sign, that is okay, right? I mean, of course, that's okay. Now is the time for us to have faith in the way that karma kind of works, right? And I know that people say, well, what goes around comes around. Like, that's kind of what it is. But it's not exactly. I think the West, and I learned this in one of the books that I was reading, the West has kind of bastardized the concept of karma. Because at any given moment, you can change your karma. And all that is just changing your state of mind and your state of heart, and projecting out high frequency emotions and feelings like love and gratitude and compassion. And then immediately karma, right, the goes around comes around part comes to you. And so I think you're starting to really understand how that works. And you're starting to really understand your separation from your ego. And when you do that, you, again, like I said before, you become an untouchable. And this person cannot touch you. And I think that frustrates them even more because they know they can't pull you down. They know they don't have an effect on you the way they used to. They know that they are losing their grip. And that drives them crazy. And that is not your problem. All right? Okay, Gemini, kind of an intense, comprehensive, but I hope that it provided some insight for you. I really, really do. I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you so much for being here with me this month. Take care, and I will see you for January's readings. Bye-bye.